Hi everybody and welcome to our first mindful drawing session. So for this, all we're going to need is a piece of paper and some pens. If you don't have colour pens, that's completely okay. You can use just a normal biro, some pencils, or even if you've got paints, whatever you've got around or you feel comfortable using right now. So in this session, we're going to be exploring our safe place, but we're going to be doing this through an emotion that we want to experience. And that hopefully through doing this, we're going to heighten that experience for the day. So to start, just find somewhere that's comfortable, somewhere that's relatively quiet, you're not going to be disturbed. I know this can vary depending on where you are. So just allow that, know that it's okay, and to not put too much pressure on yourself. And that's going to carry throughout the whole session today. So to start, just get into a comfortable place. And I invite you to close your eyes and I'm going to follow along with you today. We're just going to notice our natural breath. Just noticing where we are, noticing how we're sitting, how our body's feeling. Notice any sensations in the body, knowing that by noticing them, we're not giving them any control over. So if there are any feelings that we're maybe not wanting, we're reminding ourselves that by noticing them, we're having the power to rid them as well. And I'd like you to think of a feeling you would like to feel from this session. It could be happiness, it could be freedom, creativity, it could be feeling academic. Whatever you're feeling that you're wanting to be, just think about that sensation for a moment, thinking about what we're wanting to feel more of right now. Really focus on that feeling. Say the word to yourself either out loud or in your mind. Picture the word in front of you. Just notice how you feel when you're thinking about this feeling. And as we're thinking about this, we're going to think of a time and a place when we felt this, either fully or partially. And don't worry if something's not coming to your mind. You can also create a space. So thinking of somewhere, creating it all real, a moment when you felt this feeling you would like to feel. Really picture the space that you're in, be it inside or outside. Notice what you're doing when you're there. Noticing what you see, the colours, the patterns, the shapes. Notice the space, how large or small it may be, and how you are in comparison to that space. Really focus on the visuals of where you are when you're feeling this feeling you want to be feeling. And start to look at this as abstract or as realistic as you want. Hold this image in your mind, this sensation, this feeling. Either seeing yourself there or being there. So we're going to stay for 3 breaths, and on our third exhale, we're going to open our eyes and bring our attention to the paper in front of us. And when we do that, we're going to start drawing this space. It doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to look exactly as it did in our mind. Often when we see something in one art form, when we translate it to the other, it changes and it brings new information, new ideas, and we know that this safe place in our mind is somewhere that we can return to. and that that's preserved and that's pure. And now translating this to the paper is another place that we can go to that represents it. So just start however you like, even if it doesn't look like it did in your mind, even if you feel like you can't draw, that's completely okay. You can use those lines, those shapes, those colours to help get that sensation back. Remember that this piece of work, this mark making, isn't for anybody else but for yourself. And you don't have to use the colours that you saw in your mind. If you've got colours available in front of you and you want to add another one in, then by all means do. Just finding another way of expressing this feeling, this place. Use words if you wish to use words as well. You can write them across the page if you're struggling to get things out. In drawing, this may be a new sensation for some people, and that is completely okay. But right now we're becoming immersed in creating this space, knowing that as we're doing it, the drawing may change slightly. It may not be as we expected. We're testing ourselves to go with the flow, but that's completely okay. We're not overthinking it too much. We're not worrying about the lines, and sometimes this can be so hard. We want everything to be perfect, and we want to feel that we've represented it well, that we've been heard well. There may be a massive array of variation in sensations for drawing. Some of you may love it, some of you may not. But trust that the paper is hearing you, that it's understanding you. Because the most important part of this is that you're understanding yourself. You're allowing yourself to be expressive. You're allowing yourself to go with the flow. And it's okay if things worry you, it's okay if things get brought up. You keep drawing through it. And if at any time you lose a sensation or you're getting frustrated with the drawing, you can reclose your eyes and return to that place that we looked at visually. That this is completely your practice and whatever works for you. So you're going to stay with these drawings as long as makes sense for you. If you feel that you've finished earlier, that's completely okay. You can just visualize looking at the drawing in front of you, seeing what you see, noticing in your body how you're feeling. As we're going to stay with this drawing for another 3 minutes, however that makes sense to you, allowing things to grow on the drawing, things you might not have seen in your mind's eye, but things that the drawing might be seeing. Remembering they don't always have to be realistic. They don't always have to look like a thing, that we can just focus on line, colour and shape. We can just pick up our favourite colour if that's what we're feeling like doing. Knowing that throughout this, I'm here with you, and that you're supported on a journey, and that we're doing this for ourselves, that if any time you need to take a break, you need to return back to that safe place visually, you need to just get annoyed at the paper and rip it up or scribble across it, then that is completely okay too. If you need to spend a long time on one detail because you feel it's very important for you to get that right, allow yourself to do that. But also trust that the paper understands what you're saying in your heart, even if it doesn't look the same. We've got 30 seconds left. Knowing it's okay if we do not finish the drawing in time, if you feel there's unmet things. But again, we're understanding how we're feeling. And we're allowing that to be okay. So just coming to the end of our drawing now. And I'd like you just to look at it for a moment. Looking at either left to right, right to left, top to bottom, and bottom to top. Wherever your eyes are going to, just allow them to move wherever they want to. Taking in the image as a whole right now in front of it. And in this moment, we're just focusing on the drawing. We're forgetting about everything else that we've done. We're forgetting about our mindset. We're seeing what's in front of us. And either what shapes, what images, what colours are really clear. And then I'd like you to take a pen or another piece of paper, and this is going to represent you. So you're going to think either it could be a letter, it could be a shape, it could be a squiggle. Whatever makes sense to you and makes sense to the drawing, we're not overthinking it. And just put it somewhere on the drawing. And you're going to put yourself into this picture in an art-based way. So this image, the shape, the squiggle, this letter, whatever it could be, is representing you in this safe place where you had this feeling. And now I'd like you to focus on that mark that you've made that represents yourself and really think of that sensation. Think of how you'd feel in this scene, trusting that the mark that represents you makes sense in this world as if this drawing in front of us was real life. And we're going to allow this to grow, this feeling, this sensation. Knowing again we're working with our own space and our own time. But we're slowly going to outline around the representation of us, making it a bit bigger. It could be using the same pattern, shape or line and just increasing it. It could be using another pattern around. But we're going to keep doing this, allowing the self to grow across the page, getting bigger and bigger. Knowing we can change how we allow it to grow each time, or we can keep it the same. But we're allowing it to transform and to take over the space. This sense of self, this feeling, this emotion or sensation that we're feeling in this safe place is growing, and it's growing stronger across the page. It's allowing to change if it needs, but it is staying the same because it is the same sensation. It is the same emotion. And right now we're visualizing it spreading out across this whole safe place, that we're allowing all of this place to absorb into our being. And we're doing this through the paper, so all of this energy of this safe space is concentrated back to that original representation of self. And when you've taken over the entire space, go back to that original representation of self and go over that original marking, allowing all of that energy that's spread to recharge in that moment. We're just going to look at that image again for another 3 breaths before I invite you to close your eyes. So on the 3rd exhale, you're going to close your eyes again and imagine that artwork in front of you. Just remembering what you remember. Be the colours, the lines, certain areas on the page. It could be remembering the representation of yourself. And again, as we're moving from one art form to the other, this may be distorted. It may not be a perfect example. It may not be exactly the same. And that's okay, because we're trusting that our body is taking what it needs right now. And as we're seeing in our mind's eye, these shapes, these colours that are left over, We're allowing these to relax into ourselves, having absorbed that feeling that we're wanting to feel. We're reminding ourselves of this feeling as we see these marks in our mind's eye. And we're going to stay with this for 5 more breaths. And on the 5th exhale, we're going to open our eyes, turn over the page, and draw out the prominent colour, shape, or line. And we're going to write out the word of the feeling that we wanted as a quick and final marking. So we can keep these pieces of paper with us. We can use them as a reminder. We can trace over with our fingers, over these lines, over these words, really looking at our image again as a place of our safety. And we can also go back to our mind's eye the first time or the second time as well, if you're wanting to experience a sensation. And this is a task you can use every day if it's something you want, if it's something that works for you. Again, there's no pressure if it doesn't. Different things work for different people. So allow, your well-being to say, yes, this works, or yes, this doesn't. But it's something you can use and change that emotion, that sensation. So hopefully this has helped today, and we're left with a bit of that energy, that colour, that line, that word of that feeling with us as we carry on throughout the day. So do like, comment, share, let me know how you found this, because the more feedback, the more we can improve. So thank you very much, and I will see you soon.